All right. Hello, everybody. Today is April 11th and it is officially 12 p.m. So I'm going ahead and getting us started. I know we'll probably have people straggling in, but that is absolutely all right. I just want to make sure we give our presenters enough time to go through the information that they have ready for you guys. So I wanted to welcome everybody to the virtual educational opportunity specifically on communication applications. The webinar was created by the Region 5 Tech Hub, which I am Shannon Winings and the facilitator of the Tech Hub. Our goal is to increase access, use, and education on supportive technology, and this helps with the education portion to the individuals who are on the call today. You can connect with us online at meyork.com/Region 5 Tech Hub, and I will paste that link in the chat for anybody to access as well. A few webinar reminders that this webinar is being recorded. A copy of the webinar will be available on the website to you to view later as well, and there should provide you with a email after the meeting so that you will be able to access that directly as well. Right now, all participants are muted at the moment, and please leave yourself muted for the presentations, but you are welcome to unmute yourself at the end of the presentation to ask any questions that you may have. On the other hand, there is also a chat feature and a Q&A feature, which will monitor throughout the presentation as well, and you can go ahead and drop any questions that you have in there too. We have three different presenters with us today. We have the different companies are LAMP, Avaz, and Tony Dynavox, and I will let everybody introduce themselves as they go through as well. But we're going to go ahead and we'll get started with the LAMP application with Cindy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy Halloran. I'm the director for the Center for AAC and Autism, and my professional background is I'm an occupational therapist. I can either show my document camera or my face, so I'm wanting to say hi, and then I'm going to hide my face so I can finish my presentation. And I'm going to share my screen.
We can see it.
Okay, and I will switch this. There we go. All right, so a little bit of clarification about LAMP and who I am and what we do. I'm the director for the Center for AAC and Autism. My husband and I, he's a speech language pathologist, developed the LAMP approach in our clinical practice 20 some odd years ago. So LAMP originally is, and still is a clinical approach to teaching language and communication using AAC. PRC Saltillo has developed the LAMP Words for Life vocabulary. It is a vocabulary system that is available as an app and on PRC Saltillo's dedicated devices. So I think sometimes there's a little confusion when people talk about LAMP, what that is exactly. So it's kind of multiple things. It's a therapeutic approach, but it's also a language system that follows that approach. And I just want to clarify that. PRC Saltillo is the company that offers that product, and there are consultants across the country to support with PRC Saltillo products. So since the LAMP Words for Life app and language system was designed to support the approach, there are some guidelines of the approach that are used in the development of the app. So the first thing is that we want to provide a robust language system that someone can start at like cause and effect or whatever their current skills are, but be able to grow to robust communication without changing systems. So you can do that all within the one language system. We also believe there are no cognitive prerequisites for the implementation of AAC, that you should be able to start at that cause and effect level, doing something on the device, getting a response, but being able to systematically build upon the stages of natural language development and end up with robust language. The main component of the LAMP approach is that every word in the system has a unique and consistent motor movement to say that word. So as you learn your first words, the motor movement you use to say that word on the device never changes as you grow And the benefit of that is that when you have a consistent motor movement, just like in playing the piano or typing on a keyboard, that becomes automatic and you become more fluent with producing the motor movements. That means in communication, then attention can be shifted towards the content of the communication exchange and the social aspects of that communication exchange instead of focusing on navigating your system. I want to show a quick little video clip of a young boy in his very first session with an AAC device. And there was a beginning part of this that I've kind of cut out, but you can see where he's starting to say a word on the device to make something happen, but he makes a few mistakes and he's starting to figure it out. And let me know if you can hear the speech, because I'm not sure I checked that in Teams before I came here. Can you hear the sound?
I could not hear anything, but
Okay.
you may need to check and make sure that we could hear the screen volume too.
Yep. Hold on, go back to Teams. Share. Stop sharing for a second. Go back to share. Shoot. Share sound. Maybe that will work.
Hey, can you make it go?
Yes, we can hear it now.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry.
Go.
Did you see that? I'm gonna put it in here. Make it.
Go.
You did it.
Eat.
Okay. Here's your eat.
Go.
Here's your eat. I'm ready. Oh, I see you.
Go. Go.
You gotta do the whole thing. Did you want to turn? So smart.
Go.
That was your smart.
All right. So that is a young boy with first presentation of the device. But that language system that he uses there is going to be the same language system. Hopefully he will use along, so he can just continue to develop language, develop learning words, putting words together. My next video is of an adult who is using the very same language system. So on the other end of the continuum, he has been using this for a while. He's very fluent in his movements. So this is that piece that automaticity gives you. Once you've practiced a lot, eventually you become very fluent with the device. So the context and what he's saying here isn't as important as I would just want you to watch how fluently he accesses the communication device.
Great. Yeah, for me too. So do you have a standout presentation that you've heard over the last couple of days?
I always like hearing stories from other AAC users. I always like hearing stories from other AAC users.
Yeah, I'm the same. I find the videos really powerful. I love John's videos, but even the other therapists' videos of where they're at with their AAC LAMP journey.
I'm not a speech language pathologist, so I find the ones talking about research is a little boring. I'm not a speech language pathologist, so I find the ones talking about research is a little boring.
All right, so he was at a conference and she's just asking him questions about his experience at the conference. So now I would like to share a little bit about what the app looks like. Ta-da. So it's a vocabulary file. The full vocabulary file has thousands of words, word endings. You can conjugate verbs. You can have all the parts of speech. You can put words together to say complex sentences like you see Lance doing right there. But it also has a beginning one-hit vocabulary file for a child like that boy in the first video. When you are just presenting the device, you want him to know that if he touches a button, something happens and he can direct his environment. A lot of times with kids that are very distracted, have sensory processing issues, they need a very simple, I touch a button and something immediately happens. So this one hit level does that for them. So let's use that little boy in the first video as an example. He's saying the word go. So if I just push this button,
Go.
It immediately talks. So I have access to 84 words here at a one hit level. It immediately speaks after each button I press. I can say individual words. I can make the car go. I can make the car stop. I could be in a swing. I can make the swing turn, have somebody push me up or push me or let me fall down. So you can respond to these words quickly with a natural sensory response to help teach meaning and attach meaning to those words. At this level, you can put words together for phrases.
1, 2, go.
But this is not usually a level that you stay at if you're building phrases and sentences. This is an initial getting buy-in, understanding how the device works, making something happen, discriminating between my first words. That little boy in the first video, this is probably not what would have been presented at first because he could have been all over the board, pushing all kinds of things you're not ready to respond to. So there's a feature called Vocabulary Builder that you can turn on, hide everything except for a few words that you want to target. So it makes hitting those buttons really easy, cuts down the visual clutter, and allows the therapist to be prepared to respond to whatever they push. I'm going to go quick to a full level. You see the same screen that you saw at the one hit level, but now I have access to thousands of words. To do that, I have to, for most words, I have to press more than one button to say it. So instead of hitting one button to say go, I'm going to hit that first button, but now I'm going to hit one more button.
Go.
I've added one more step to the end of that motor pattern, but
Go.
that's the motor movement I'm going to use to say go forever. At this level, that little boy in the first video was here. At this level, when we saw him, I'm not touching the right button. There we go. I think I have this already loaded, so I can still have Vocabulary Builder on with those same words showing. But once I touch this, all I see is the second half of that. So you can really train that motor pattern that I'm going to use the rest of my life for that word. Vocabulary Builder off. There is a pattern to how you say all the words. So you could see that I'm going to end all of my verbs here.
Eat.
So eat ends there. Drink ends
Drink.
there. Sleep ends there. And I can conjugate my verbs across. So my ing verbs always end
Sleeping.
here.
Eating.
I'm going to go back and show my adjectives are always going to end here.
Hungry.
So I can find hungry. Under the cup, I can see thirsty. And under the bed, I see tired.
Tired.
So that's my adjectives. I'm going to go back to eat, and you'll see my nouns up at the top. So all of my food words you can see there. There are a lot of food words, so they're subcategorized. So I can go to a page of fruit.
Apple.
Say apple, but my motor plan to say apple is always going to be
Apple.
that motor movement. You'll see that it always comes back to the home screen, so I can start any word from this screen and keep the motor pattern for that next word always the same. It will always start here. There is also a feature called Word Finder, because it is a very cluttered screen. If you're a communication partner wanting to teach a word, you can go here, type in the word that you want to teach. I can see the icon sequence for getting to that word. I can also press it and practice the motor pattern for saying that
Horse.
word. And that's going to be the motor pattern
Horse.
I say when all of my words are back. Lamp Words for Life has an English vocabulary file. There's also a Spanish and a Canadian French vocabulary file. They're all designed similarly, but with differences to support the different language structures. And as much as they can be the same, like the Apple would be in the same location, same motor pattern in all of those languages. But the verbs are not necessarily always the same because they conjugate verbs differently. So those motor patterns where I might start that verb is the same, but the motor pattern itself is going to be a little bit different. That is a really quick overview of the approach. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint really quick and the app. We do trainings across the country on the LAMP approach, and sometimes that's a one-day training. Sometimes we add a 2-day training, a second day to that, which is hands-on with the device. But we go over implementation strategies, like take that picture of that first little boy or the video of the first little boy and break it down about what we're doing moment by moment, how we're setting up the device, why we're doing that, how you would progress through language. And I just wanted to let you know that coming up and I know I've got this backwards, in Ohio, there are a couple of trainings. So there's one at the end of this month in Zanesville, and they're low price, and there are ASHA CEUs for therapists to attend those courses, and we offer half price for parents and students to attend. There's also one coming up in, if I'm saying this right, Cuyahoga Falls, and it's a 2-day training with the hands-on piece with the app and devices to practice those implementation strategies. So I will pass the floor back over to the next presenter.
All right, our next presenter we have is from Avaz, and I know you will go ahead and get started. Let me know if you need any help with anything. It doesn't look like we have any questions or anything quite yet.
Thank you so much, Shannon, and hello, everyone. Good morning. So I'm just going to give. So my name is Narayan. I'm the CEO of Avaz. I'll just share my screen. And right. So so quick background about Avaz. Avaz means voice in the Hindi language. Hindi is one of the largest spoken languages in India. We started way back in 2010, which is still young in terms of the kind of peers that I have today in terms of Cindy and Toby Dynavox. They've been around for years. We are kind of relatively the new kid on the block. So we started in 2010, came out of one of the first AAC apps in India. And over the years, we've kind of evolved, and we now our product is used globally by AAC users with different kinds of abilities. So this is we are supporting Avaz on multiple devices. So it could be on an iPad, on an iPhone, on an Android device, or an Android tablet, and coming very soon on a Windows device as well. I want to highlight one thing here is that when I talk about the availability of the app across these platforms, it also means they work seamlessly. So wherein if you program a particular page set on the iPad and you pass it over to the Android device, it kind of renders it the same way, the same layout, all the same features, all of it there. And it's kind of important to have multiple options depending on the affordability, depending on what people have access to. So it just gives you more options there. Avaz is being used by customers all across the US. So I just wanted to show you a quick map of where all kind of Avaz is being used right now in the US. So we have a lot of schools, clinics, AT centers, learning libraries who are using it. A lot of parents who are using it. So that's a quick snapshot of where Avaz is being used today. My marketing team said if I don't show this slide up front, there's no use. So I should show this up front. So we kind of just to kind of highlight we have an option for a lifetime purchase, so one-time purchase of $300, and we also offer kind of like subscription. So both are available, a one-time purchase as well as a subscription offering. So we have a $10 a month or $100 a year kind of a purchase option available. And if for professionals, we do have evaluation copies, access for evaluation copies. So you can either drop us a note or we can send you a link on the chat as well for signing up for that. Right. So I want to start off kind of, this is just quickly giving you a background about Aavas and all the marketing stuff that I need to push in front. But this is the more exciting thing about Aavas itself now. Now, when we talk about communication, it's always about some sort of connection, right? You and I are communicating to build that kind of a common connection on a particular topic. And we as AAC system designers, AAC product designers, we wanted to kind of like figure out what are the ways in which we can engineer that moment of connection, right? So there are different ways in which AAC systems do it. And in the next few minutes that I have, I'm going to showcase to you how we are thinking about engineering that moment of connection and why we think that's an important kind of like a perspective to take to building AAC systems as well. I'm going to now my stream audio, start broadcast, sharing here. All right, so I have my iPad here. And so one of the first things that I want to show you, and which is something unique to Aavas, is we've kind of looked at a lot of AAC users, but I'm not sure if anyone would have heard an AAC user angry or heard an AAC user sound sarcastic. So if you look at going back to this point of connection, how do you give the ability for an AAC user to actually sound angry or sound excited or sound sarcastic, how to land a joke by using their tones? In most of our AAC systems right now, this is how, if I wanted to sound angry, this is how we all would sound.
Can
you
stop
that
that
now?
now?
Now, if I were to speak this out, this is
Can
how,
you stop that now?
this is how it's most of AAC systems will sound like this. But now in Aavas, what you can do is you can tap the tone, hit the angry button, and make it actually sound angry.
Can you stop that now?
Right? It sounds angry, actually angry. Or one of my favorites is that you can make it sound sarcastic.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, right.
Right. So that's the power of kind of adding that layer of expression, layer of intonation in the AAC system itself. And it doesn't require any programming. It's just a button, makes it easy for people to access, use it, not use it. It's there and it's kind of not distracting anyone. So we have had parents who just recently posted on our Facebook user group that how her 5-year-old is talking everything with the excited button. So we did a lot of beta testing around this, and we gave it to a lot of parents, teachers, experts in the field, and we got a lot of feedback around that. And that's the kind of like thought process that has gone into simplifying the feature and keeping it very simple, easy to use, and accessible for everyone. And again, like that's the key point I wanted to emphasize here, is that we're trying to figure out that moment of connection as well, right? How do you give that power to the AAC user? Now I want to show you the feelings folder, and then I'll jump into the vocabulary system as well. Now in this feelings folder, for example, I'm going to switch this tone to say sad. You'll see that in this page, you'll see that we've kind of grouped it such that all the surprised, happy feelings are in one place, sad and angry feelings. So it's kind of almost divided into zones for easy viewing. And then you have the qualifier words in between, like so, very, little. And one of the things that I want to show here is that you can do this.
Very
And then you can
embarrassed.
show a GIF of someone being actually embarrassed. So the idea here is that most of everyone uses GIFs. Everyone uses kind of like different kinds of emojis, emoticons. How do you give that to the AAC user as well to communicate? Right. So that's kind of something that we wanted to look at. And going back to the point of how do you get the AAC user to feel engaged and feel connected to their AAC system? And so that's the thought process behind a lot of the ideas that we've built into the system. So adding GIFs is one. One of the other my favorites is if I go back. So there's a quick folder, and if I go to quick and I go to say me, I have something called as my affirmations, and this is again showing you a sample of what are the different kinds of things that you can program into the vocabulary for people to get access to that. So I can do something like excited, and I can say
I am a badass.
right. So we also don't want to police vocabulary. We want to keep the vocabulary. It can be up to the teachers, up to the speech therapists to kind of guide when they should use those words, but also give them age appropriate vocabulary, right? So that's also important for us to offer as AAC system designers. I'm going to clear this, and then I'll go back to showing you the vocabulary system itself really quick here. One of the key things with Avas is that you'll see the bottom row, which we call the frozen row, and that has access to all your core words. It's like a shortcut to all your core words, and that frozen row follows you everywhere in the app. So now if I go to the transport folder, and let's say we have a AAC user who's really excited about different kinds of like vehicles and modes of transport. So you have fringe vocabulary, which has Uber to kind of like food truck to pedestrian pathways, everything. But at the same time, you have you'll see that if you tap on actions here, you are able to the app kind of contextually predicts only those words specific to the transport category, right? Or if I go to describe, it will show you only those descriptors which are contextually relevant to the transport category. The reason I'm showing this is that this is completely customizable. So I'm going to show you edit. You'll see all those words are just masked out. And so we've kind of built in that prediction for you. You can go ahead and override it. You can go ahead and tweak it. The idea here is that we don't want to also kind of give that cognitive overload for the AAC user. Also, for the person who is modeling, we also want it to be easy for them to find words and model easily, right? So there's that balance of how do you maintain motor planning for the AAC user, where all the words are in the same place. So all the descriptors are in the same place. If you go back to actions, they're in the same place. The word walk will be in the same place. But at the same time, for a person who's modeling, how do you kind of give them that grid-based vocabulary to think and find it, and they can find the words far more easily. So that's kind of like the thought process behind this entire vocabulary. So this frozen row is a key aspect to our. So I can show you another example in terms of topics, and you'll see that we have a whole range of topics available. So things like my stories. So talking a lot about the AAC user, giving them access to words and vocabulary. Things like topics and things like say as simple as monster truck rallies. I've built this. I'm showing this as a sample as to the kind of range of words that you can add here, and then you can also customize it such that in the action vocab in this actions folder, just show a very specific set of words, right? Let's just show go, stop, and win, lose, and hide the rest. And you hide it only in this place. So this is an easy way to kind of like set up when you want to talk about a specific topic, you are not navigating multiple places. You kind of like hit the actions button and you have those specific core words that you want to work on. So again, this is a very quick kind of a quick overview of this. We have a much more detailed webinar on the 16th. So wherein I'll kind of take you through that. I'll drop the link to the webinar in the chat. And finally, I wanted to leave you with one last feature, which is this is something. So my colleague Kirtana was the brains behind this vocabulary. Her daughter uses Avas and is also kind of uses Gestoids. So I'm moving to a 96 pictures per screen. You'll see that the kind of like the the screen adjusts itself, and you'll see there's a My Gestalt folder at the bottom that's come up. And if I say, for example, go to the food folder, and now if I tap on My Gestalts, so this is a Gestalt that this is a YouTube video snippet that she's added here for her daughter.
Now I will get some food. Now I'm gonna eat. Feed me, feed me, feed me.
You'll see that this video just plays for that duration and then goes back. There's no ads, there's no recommended videos, nothing is shown. So it's very easy to program Awaaz as well. And that was one of our key points of kind of designing the app, wherein how do you ensure that programming is really easy and let technology do the hard work for you, right? So that experts can focus on their intervention strategies and technology can do all the hard work and all the groundwork there. So just to give you an example real quick here, I can add a word and let's say, I'm just going to say Peppa Pig. I can change the picture. I can browse from the web, pick up any picture from the web. You're not leaving the app. You're not downloading into your gallery and importing it. Everything is within the app. Or you can add your own GIFs here. You can search through GIFs, add it. I can select a GIF, change how many times it loops. All of that I can do. For now, I'm going to just stick to this. And I can then go to actions and pick up a YouTube video link and just say Peppa Pig goes to school. Just going to take an example here. So again, you're still within the app. You can search it. You can search the video. And I will just give you a quick preview of this screen here, right? So this screen, there's a lot of thought process behind this. You can set up a start time and an end time. So you don't have, you can understand which part of the YouTube video that a child might want. You can just take that snippet and cut it right here. You don't have to kind of like use other tools. Everything is right within the app. And then again, it's all kind of straightforward and just buttons that you need to press to get this done. So I can just tap on start time.
Mrs. Sheep, do you work or do you play?
I can end time. I can tap on save. I can tap on done. And I have programmed that YouTube video.
Mrs. Sheep, do you work or do you play?
And it kind of zooms back in. So again, something that is easily customizable, easily modifiable, and almost the app kind of helps you shift and kind of modify whatever you want to do with the app, right? So at the end of the day, the idea is that we can offer you the tools that you want to use that brings the best out of the child. So that's kind of like the key here. And I'll kind of stop here. I think I've run out of time. I'll just stop here. I'm happy to answer any questions. And we'll kind of send you some, add in some links with respect to the resources as well.
Thank you so much. I know you said that you're gonna upload the link into the chat, so we'll make sure that that gets in there too for users for the extended demo that we are doing next week on Awaaz specifically.
Yes.
And then we will move on to Tobii Dynavox so that they can go ahead and do their part of the presentation as well. And then if there are any additional questions or anything like that, go ahead and put them in the chat or Q&A and we can kind of start taking stock, or you can hold them until the end and then we'll go ahead and answer those as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, perfect.
Hey,
Hello.
Stop sharing.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Stop presenting.
Well, take this. Whoops. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I can't see you when I share this, so I appreciate that. Thanks, Shannon. As Shannon said, I am a solutions consultant with Tobii Dynavox. We provide both hardware and software solutions for AAC. Providing the power to be you is just our general mission statement. This is just a little bit about me. I'm a speech pathologist by trade. I worked at Nationwide Children's Hospital till just about a year ago. I've been in this role for a little over a year, and I'm loving it. This is just my contact info, and I'm happy to drop that in the chat when we're done. I have a lot of this, but I'm going to kind of breeze through these slides just generally to go into more detail on software. We have a variety of AAC solutions depending on whether your clients, students, family members need. And as far as what sets us apart, we are kind of what we call a one-stop shop for world-class technology, mounting accessories. We have the largest network of solutions consultants, which is my role. We have tech support that helps support the life of a device, and then a variety of other resources like complementary software for professionals, device loans and trial programs, funding teams, an appeals team for insurance, and a variety of learning resources. We're the world's leading supplier of AAC in education, and we are the leaders in direct switch and eye gaze access. We also have a variety of mounting solutions for those with different bodies and different needs. There are a few QR codes embedded in here if you would like to check those out. I think this one takes you to a myths handout, but I ended up just dropping it right here as far as general use of AAC. I have one specific to autism, one specific to CP, and then one specific to ALS. If any of those are seem like something that might be helpful for you or the families you serve, let me know and I can just send you those directly. This is just our communication bill of rights. It's a wonderful visual, but I'm not going to spend too much time here. We believe that everyone has the right to access communication. I did embed some success stories, but I want to get through a few things before I show you guys some of those. So we'll circle back to that if we have time. As far as access methods, we have a variety of access methods our devices support. We have 5 different points of access we'll kind of discuss briefly: touch, mouse alternatives, a head-controlled mouse, scanning with switches, or eye tracking. Eye gaze allows the user to dwell for a set time, and then you can also use a switch in conjunction with eye gaze. This allows selections to be made by you're gazing at the point, but then selecting with the switch, depending on what the user needs. This graphic kind of shows how someone can use just their eyes to make a selection, but the eye tracker that's at the base of our device sends out an infrared light. It's like a little red dot in the bottom, and that's reflected in your eyes. So the eye tracker essentially picks up the light around a user's pupils, which is pretty cool. We have the industry-leading eye tracker. It is kind of perfected for use for people with, different abilities and different bodies. So uncontrolled head movements, a variety of positions, bright light, glasses, single eyes. If there's like nystagmus or blindness at play, that's a nice feature. This is a little more information about our eye tracker. I'm going to skip this for now, but if you guys are interested, I'm happy to go into more detail later. Generally, as far as software, we have a variety of softwares available. So I'm going to briefly overview them to show you what's available and give you an idea of what might benefit your clients that you serve. We have symbol-based communication, text-based communication, computer access, and then assessments or practice things with eye gaze. TD Snap may be what, if you're familiar at all with Tobii Dynavox, what you think of when you think of us. TD Snap is a flexible software that offers a variety of different pages within it. It's a very flexible solution and pretty fluid. I think it's also very user-friendly. As far as TD Snap benefits of it, it's really easy to edit and it's extremely customizable for specific needs. Snap has the ability to sync and share in order to collaborate with team members. So, if you're working with a speech therapist and then a speech therapist in a private setting and then a speech therapist at school, they can kind of work together to customize those for a user. Snap has an integrated Google Assistant and a variety of other tools, single words, phrases, whiteboards, photos, books, board maker activities, which are kind of like interactive library, games, math tools, things like that. As far as different pages in TD Snap, our offerings include Core First, which is kind of like thematic language. Core First has single words and phrases, and things are organized based on grid size. So things might move and shift a little bit depending on what you're looking at. Our Motor Plan page sets come in 3 grid sizes, Motor Plan 30, Motor Plan 40, or Motor Plan 66. And those also have English, Spanish toggles. Those are, a fixed grid that either 30 buttons on a screen, 40 or 66. No matter what grid size you're choosing in Motor Plan, they all have the same amount of language, vocabulary. It's just a matter of where they're located. And our Motor Plan page sets are mostly single words, but we do have quick fires in there so you can program specific phrases that are helpful. Our aphasia page set is really helpful, comes in 3 grid sizes. If somebody has a stroke and then is experiencing aphasia, this is a nice one for support. Express is a page set that's also categorized and can be used for a variety of populations. And then Gateway and Pod, I'm not going to focus too much on. Other software we have is Communicator 5. Communicator 5 kind of is like a launch pad almost. I explain it to people. There's a lot you can do in C5. It offers a communication solution, but it also allows you to access things outside of just communication, controlling the computer, making phone calls, text messaging, emailing, accessing social media. It's kind of like a suite of a variety of things you might need. A lot of adults really enjoy using Communicator 5. TD Talk is text-based. It's just a keyboard essentially. It's nice for literate adults. TD Talk is actually a free app. You can download it on an iPad, but it's just this keyboard, and then you have your message window. But thinking about maybe adults with ALS, MS, muscular dystrophy, CP, kind of allows people to type, or you can use this with eye gaze as well, depending on what the need is there. TD Browse is a way to access the internet with your eyes. It is a scroll and a click function with eye gaze. And I really like this. It's designed for literate adults. However, when pediatric patients are using eye gaze, this is a nice starting point. Once they've kind of gotten the idea of the cause and effect in communication, this is a nice way to start exploring outside of the communication software without overwhelming them. This is available on our iSeries devices, the TD i13 or i16 that are Windows-based. And then TD Control is another software to kind of enable independence. It is pretty much anything you can do with a mouse or a keyboard, you can do with your eyes. Again, this software is designed for literate adults to be in full control of their Windows computer or environment. This is just a brief overview. I won't get into it too much. If you want more information, I'm happy to provide it, but yeah, anything you can do with a mouse or a keyboard, you can do here in TD Control with your eyes. Lastly, as far as software built by Tobii Dynavox, TD Phone is purpose-built for having conversations through your Windows-based eye gaze device, allows users to call and text by connecting their iPhone or Android via Bluetooth. So I'll briefly go through hardware, and then I'd like to show you, I'm running short on time, a couple things in our software. So actually, give me just 1 second. I think the easiest way to show you is to do it all on one page. I'm sorry. I'm gonna hop out of my presentation and just onto my product page here. Does anybody have any questions? I see. Oh no, that was just the link from before. Okay, as far as our hardware, our devices, the TD iSeries is a dedicated Windows-based eye gaze device. The 13 and the 16 are just related to size, 13-inch screen or a 16-inch screen, depending on what your user needs. The TD Pilot is an Apple-based eye gaze device that can run the TD Snap software and the TD Talk software. As far as touch devices, the TD I-110 is a Windows-based device. This does have Gorilla Glass. It's a little bit heavier than our other line, but it is really nice from a durability standpoint. And lastly, our TD Navios come in 3 sizes: the Mini, the Midi, and the Maxi. All can be mounted to a wheelchair, all have switch ports, but those will also run the TD Snap or TD Text software. Are you able to see the software on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So this first page that I'm going to show you guys is, this software is TD Snap, but the page set specifically that I have up here is called Express. This came out in October, so I don't know how familiar people are with it. It's really nice because it's category based, but if I want to go into food and drink, I have my phrase builders, and then I have, your core phrase starters, and then your fringe you can navigate in and out of. I think this is nice for early intervention because it's not limiting them to a single word. It still gives you the ability to model language, but it's also been really beneficial for some adult populations with different cognitive abilities. Next, Core First supported navigation is a nice starter for early language. The idea of supported navigation is you're getting the user into a folder and then they're navigating from there. All of these buttons can be customized. We do have integrated YouTube, and we can pull pictures straight from Google for editing. As I said before, in Core First, anything 2x3 or lower is going to have this supported navigation screen. And then as we move up, so say we go to a 5x5 and I click on home, I have my core vocabulary and then folders that expand out single words. Topics is designed for a specific activity or environment. So if you're doing bubbles, these are phrases you might use with that specific activity. Questions, general statements, your positive statements are green, your negative statements are red, and then there's room for customization. And then I'm just going to show you one motor plan page set since I'm about out of time here. So motor plan 30, kind of like Cindy said, based on a motor plan, the same way we text and type, things are not going to shift and move around in here. Mostly single words. We've got about 2,700 words here in the vocabulary. The one thing I wanted to highlight in this specific motor plan page set is your toolbar on the left, you have quick fires, so you will have some phrases here, which I know is really important for specific populations. They might benefit from a motor plan, but they also might need access to a full phrase more immediately. So, my name is, or if they are Gestalt processors, my phrases is completely blank to add in their niche, unique things that make sense for them. And I think I'm about out of time, so I'm going to stop sharing.
All right, we're going to see if my camera decides to work because it decided that it didn't want to. Okay. All right, so my camera is not working, but I would like to say thank you to all 3 of you for going and describing the different devices and software that you guys have available. But I do want to allow anybody who has a question or questions to go ahead, and you're welcome to unmute or put something in the chat, and we'll make sure that one of our presenters are able to answer, or multiple presenters, depending on what your question is. All right, it doesn't look like anybody is raising their hand or anything like that, but I don't know. Is there anything from any one of you, one thing or a couple things that you want to say before we get off? All right. Well, then I would like to say thank you again to everybody who presented and everybody who attended. The recording will be available shortly. And as a reminder, Avaz is doing a longer demo next week on April 16th. And that information is in the chat as well if you are interested in participating in that too. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you.